All right, let's talk about a term you hear absolutely everywhere, a force that's really reshaping our world in some pretty massive ways: big data. To really get our heads around this, we first have to appreciate the incredible scale of what we're dealing with. Because believe me, we are living in a full-blown data explosion. I mean, just listen to this quote from Google's former CEO, Eric Schmidt. It kind of puts everything into perspective, right? Let that sink in for a second. All the information humanity created from, the dawn of time until 2003, we now create that same amount every 2 days. And just so you know, an exabyte? That's a billion gigabytes. It's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. So, that brings up a really important question. Is it just about being huge? What actually makes all this data big? Well, it turns out big is way more than just size. The way experts really define it is with this framework called the 4 Vs. These are the 4 key things that make this new wave of data totally different from anything that came before it. Okay, first up, we've got volume. This is the obvious one, the sheer scale of it all. We're talking about data sets that are so ridiculously enormous, they would just completely overwhelm a traditional database. We're not even in gigabytes anymore. We're talking petabytes, even zettabytes. And then there's velocity. This is all about the insane speed of it all. Data isn't just sitting there. It's a constant, real-time fire hose of information. Every single tweet, every credit card swipe, every sensor, it's all happening right now, and it needs to be processed pretty much instantly. We also have to think about variety. Old school data was pretty neat and tidy, like something you'd find in a spreadsheet. But most of the big data out there today is unstructured and, well, it's messy. We're talking about emails, videos, audio clips, all those social media posts that just don't fit into nice, clean boxes. And finally, and honestly, this might be the most crucial one, we have veracity. This is all about trust. With data flying in from a million different places, how can you be sure it's accurate? Is it reliable? I mean, would you bet a multi-million-dollar decision on it? That question, that's the whole challenge of veracity. So you see, it's not just one of these things. It's the combination of all 4 of them happening at once: the massive scale, the blistering speed, the sheer messiness, and the constant question of quality that makes big data such a unique and powerful challenge. Okay, so we've established we have this massive, fast-moving, messy, and sometimes unreliable beast of data. How on earth do we even begin to tame it? How do we actually process it all? Well, the answer required a totally different way of thinking. Instead of trying to build one single, impossibly powerful supercomputer, the big breakthrough was to use a team of regular computers all working together in what's called a cluster. By splitting up the data and the work across this whole team, the system becomes incredibly scalable, super fast, and way more resilient. And one of the core ideas that makes this work is a really clever process called MapReduce. The easiest way to think about it is divide and conquer. The map step takes a gigantic problem and breaks it down into thousands of tiny little pieces, and then hands one piece to each computer on the team. Then, after a quick shuffle to get things organized, the reduce step takes all those individual answers and combines them back into one single final result. It's a brilliantly efficient way to tear through huge amounts of data. Okay, so that's the techie stuff. But why does any of this actually matter to you? Because this isn't just some abstract computer science concept. This technology is having a huge impact on your world, from your personal health all the way to your music playlist. Big data analytics is fundamentally changing pretty much every industry you can possibly think of. Let's just run through a few really powerful examples of how this is all playing out right now. So, in healthcare, analysts can now take huge amounts of anonymous health data and map it against geographical data. And this lets public health officials spot the faint signals of a disease outbreak before it gets out of control. It helps them figure out exactly where to send resources like vaccines and medical supplies. Now, here's one I know you've experienced. In the media world, companies like Spotify are analyzing listening data from millions of us. What songs you play, what you skip, what you add to a playlist. And all that data fuels their recommendation engines to predict with almost scary accuracy what your next favorite song is going to be. Over in banking, the Securities Exchange Commission is using big data to keep an eye on the financial markets. By analyzing trading patterns as they happen, their systems can automatically flag weird behavior that might be illegal trading, the kinds of things a human analyst could never hope to spot in all that noise. And even in government, Some police departments are using data analytics to understand criminal behavior and identify patterns in crime. The idea is that this allows them to use their resources more effectively and, in some cases, even work to prevent crime before it can happen. When you start looking at all these applications, one thing becomes crystal clear. Data has turned into one of the most powerful and valuable resources we have in the 21st century. The research firm Gartner came up with the perfect metaphor for this. Big data is the new oil. And it makes so much sense when you think about it. Just like crude oil, raw data isn't all that useful on its own. It has to be collected, it has to be refined, it has to be analyzed. But once you do that, it becomes the fuel for all kinds of modern innovation, efficiency, and discovery. So this new oil is fueling some absolutely mind-blowing innovation. But just like any powerful resource, it raises some really big questions about how we should be using it. As we move deeper into a world that's built on data, the question that we're all left with is this: what should the rules of the road be?